Hello everyone, my name is Pawan and I welcome you all towards my channel. So guys, today we'll be learning about what is right, what are the types of rights and what is duty in a very simplified manner. So now let's understand what is right proposed by great propounders and great jurists. So first of all, the first thing which you need to keep in the mind is that proposed by the Salmond. The Salmond has said that a right is an interest recognized and protected by rule or justice. That means that a right is an interest which is basically protected by law, justice or rule or justice. And Jering has said that rights are legally protected interest. So rights are legally protected interest. I'll give you this with a basic simple example. Okay, so basically, for example, in right itself, there is something which is inbound within yourself that's called as right. For example, there is a moral right. In terms of love relationship, you are marrying your own wife, you are marrying your own any person who you like to marry. At such point of time, you have a moral right to love over there, and that is your right. It's absolutely your right. Now tomorrow, if there is a divorce between you and your wife, you are supposed to pay the maintenance for it, and that is a legal right for you. Did you observe? There's something called as difference between a moral right and a legal right. So a moral right, which is basically imbounded in you within your own principles, your own life values, can be having a moral right, and that is not questionable. See, in case if you're not following a moral right also, it's not questionable. But there are certain kind of legal rights. Okay, for example, these legal rights, you are really inbound to do it. Got it? Inbound to do it, there you are enforceable to it. For example, I'm giving my house for you to stay. At such point of time, which I was just telling, that you are bound to pay the rent for me. That's called as your legal right. So there is something called as moral right and the legal right. I hope now you got a clarity about it. So now in this basis, let's understand the different types of rights, important type of rights which you need to keep in your mind. So in the different types of rights, the first right is about perfect right and imperfect rights. Now what is this perfect right? Perfect rights are nothing but enforceable. These are enforceable rights. You can even enforce in terms of going to the court. That is like right to life. That is something, an inbound right which is given to you, right to life. But whereas imperfect rights, for example, I can give you an example. If I and Kamal, for example, if Kamal has taken a loan from me and he says that he will pay back to me after 6 months, and that agreement is created between us. So now in middle, can I go in the middle of third month and can I go ask him for this one? In case if he's not paying me, can I go to the court and file a case against him? No, it is not possible. Why? Because there is a stipulated bad time for it. So only if that bad time is completed, only then I can perform my rights over there. In case after 6 months he's not paying, then I can go file a suit against him. But at such situations where it is not possible, that's called as imperfect rights. So now I hope you got the clarity about the first right, that is about perfect and then imperfect rights. Now the second important kind of right is about positive and negative right. Now what is this positive right? Positive right, for example, if I am a class teacher and you are a student, now I have my own rights to basically my own duty, for example, to teach you, and you have rights to ask me question. That is a positive right. Very simple. Okay, now I have a duty to teach you and you have a right to ask me questions. It's a positive right. Now what is negative right? For example, you are asking me questions. At that point of time, I'm telling you, no, I'm not free today, you go ask some other teacher, or you go to some other tuition teacher and ask questions. That is a negative right. Got it? So where there is a positive right and there is a negative right, it is correlated. I mean, like, especially in terms of rights and duty. In the second instance which I gave, where I'm not performing my duty and where your right is not fulfilled, that leads to a negative right. So guys, third important thing is about right in rem and right in persona. What is right in rem? Right in rem is about, it is against the whole society. Okay, so right against whole society. It could be about, for example, if there's a criminal, something criminal aspect or something which is affecting society at a large, we call it as right in rem. And right in persona means what? It is just against you, just against you. For example, something which has happened just within yourself is called as right in persona. Now fourth important right is about proprietary rights and personal rights. What is proprietary rights? Proprietary rights are nothing but, it's called as personal rights. Or for example, you are the owner for it. For example, like a car, your own building, your own copyright, your own patent, you are the owner for it. That's called as proprietary right. Now what are the personal rights? Personal rights is called for the personal well-being. For example, right to health, right to well-being is coming under. Now the fourth important kind of right is called as right in reproportia, and right in re-alinea. I'll just tell it to you. Okay, right in reproportia means right over own property. So that means that if I have a land and I am the owner of it, that's called as right in proportia. And right in re-alinea means, for example, my land, I'm giving it to you for rent. That's called as right over another person's property, is called as right in re-alinea. Now, the fifth important kind of right that is about the one of the types of right is called as principal and accessory rights. Now, what is principal rights? When a person owns a house, that's called as principal. Okay, principal. When I'm owning a house, I am the sole authority head over there. Principal rights. Now, accessory rights, he has a right to give to get for rent. So, for example, I am giving that particular land for rent. That can also be like a accessory rights. Yes, I totally agree that it is somewhat related to the right in reproportia and right in real linear. But yes, I hope now we got a clarity, right, in at least the basic core elements. But the sixth important point is called primary and sanctioning rights. Now, what is primary rights? The university in your college, they have said that you should have at least minimum 85% be minimum attendance. Now, what is sanctioning rights? If you do not perform that particular this one, then you will be penalized. You will be not allowed to write exam. That's called as sanctioning rights. Now, seventh important right is called as municipal and international rights. What is municipal rights? See, municipal rights, for example, municipal issues, all the municipal issues or domestic issues, that comes under municipal this one. That is within your country domain. Any problems comes under municipal this one. And international rights, any kind of global issues comes under the international rights this one. Now, eighth important kind of thing which you need to keep in there is about eighth important right. That's about ordinary and fundamental rights. See guys, for example, directive principles of state policy. It is an ordinary right. That means that if something is going wrong also, you cannot go to the court and file a complaint because it cannot be enforceable under court of law. Whereas fundamental rights can be enforceable under the court of law. So these are the 8 kind of rights which you need to keep in your mind. So now let's try to understand what is a duty. See guys, I'll just give you a simple understanding of what Salmon said and the meaning out of it. See, duty is an obligation act. That means that something which you need to perform is called as a duty. For example, if there is a program in your college and your principal is giving speech, at that point of time you're coming and snatching a mic from somewhere and then you're abusing over there, publicly telling that this is my article 19 of freedom to speech and expression. Is it possible for you to perform like that? No, it is not possible to perform like that. Why? Because there is certain kind of duties which you need to perform based on the places which are going to exist. Got it. So you have an obligation act over there. Similar way, I'll just tell about Salmon little more about it. Okay, a duty is roughly speaking an act which one ought to do, an act that opposite of which would be a wrong. Yes, so something which a duty which you need to perform, which can basically be in a helpful way or in a contradicting way, that also needs to be understood. I'll give a little more example. Okay, so there are 2 kinds of duty. One is moral duty and legal duty. What is moral duty? Your moral duty, for example, if a blind person is walking, you're helping him, right? That is called as your moral duty. Now, what is legal duty? Legal duty is, for example, income tax. For example, the house which you're staying itself, taxes must be paid. No, it should be compulsory paid, right? So that becomes your legal duty. So moral duty, even though you don't do it, it's not a questionable. But yes, legal duty, if you don't do it, you'll be strictly punishable. So guys, that's the major components about what is right, what are the types of rights and duty. I hope you like this video. Wishing you all the best. Good luck. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.